Hey everyone. So I had this great idea to do this podcast and I was excited about it and I was putting a lot of energy into planning what is this going to look like, outlining what the episodes were going to be. One of my biggest hurdles is follow through because as someone who now I've self-diagnosed myself with ADHD because I'm a textbook case. I jump from thing to thing. I follow wherever my passion leads me. And what that means is I don't stick around for a long time. But as a 51-year-old, I can say that I've come back repeatedly to multiple things. And those things are kind of my passion circles, right? And so what I want to do is each time I am in that sphere, improve it, get better. And what I've noticed just from looking back on my life is that that's happened naturally. So an example being crochet, right? I've crocheted since I was a teenager, and now I can crochet amigurumis, little stuffed animals. I can make blankets. I could make doilies. I've never done it because I don't want to, like I'm not inspired to, but there's so many options to me that I already have the experience with. So today I want to talk a little bit more about my author life because it's one of those spheres that I actually didn't get serious about until I was older. I was 48 when I was inspired to actually write my first book. I'm 51 now. And in the last 3 years, I've written 2 books. The process has snowballed a little. And I want to just talk a little bit today about how my attitude has changed over the course of this journey. I don't know how many of you listening have considered writing a book, but I think the lessons apply to anything that you want to do in life creatively, and maybe not even just creatively, maybe just life. So let's just dig in a little bit here. When I was young, I really wanted to be, I loved telling stories. Like there are cassette tapes of me telling made up stories. And I used to tell them to myself in my, when I was falling asleep, I would tell myself stories of fairy tales usually. And then something happened that kind of shut me down. And this has happened many times over my creative life. And I think most of us, not all of us, and if you're not one of these people, kudos to you. Great. I'm fully supportive of you. That's awesome. You've attained the goal, right? But I really struggle with not imposter syndrome, but like being good enough. And when I was in something called Young Authors, I don't know if it even still exists, but back in the 70s and 80s, there was a competition in school, and you all wrote a book, you wrote a story, and then we actually made it into a real book and covered it and everything. I was so excited. I remember my story now. It was totally silly, but it was about office things coming to life. A paperclip, a stapler, a tape dispenser, and a ruler. And they went on an adventure. I do not remember specifically what the adventure was, but I remember the different office things, like jumping off the desk and going, and I like created this whole like story. And I was so proud of it. I was so proud of how my story was different and special. And it was something like I had thought of myself. But it was a competition. And the competition was read and judged by people who were looking for something specific. And I know that now, looking back. Now, as an adult, I go, oh, well, of course they picked the person who wrote the story that they expected to read. It was a great story. It was like a fairy tale, but it was like a fairy tale I've read a million times. And so to me, I was like, come on, mine's special. And it hurt. It didn't help that it was my stepsister who won the author award. And she, let's just say, we have a very, as a child, it was very contentious. Not contentious, but like for me, I was very uncomfortable and always felt in her way. And she is definitely an overachiever in life where I am the black sheep. So it really kind of made me feel inferior and like maybe I wasn't supposed to be writing and maybe stories wasn't my thing. And that's so sad to say now because I have written 2 books. I've written 3 books, but I've written 2 in the fantasy series and people love them. And that people I don't know have given them the stamp of approval. And so looking back, I think, oh man, what if I hadn't given up? And then I'm like, oh, don't beat myself up because I was a little kid. It's not my fault that I didn't know. And I'm so glad that I'm here now. So let's look. I'm glad I've found this thing. So I wrote the first book and I wanted some sort of I told myself I would feel successful and I would trust that it was a good book when 2 people that I had never met liked it and left a good review. That was a year ago. And I not only have found 2 people who like it and left a nice review, I have super fans now who are probably listening to this, and thank you so much, because there's so many times where even though I feel confident about the stories, I feel confident, I feel good when I write it. I like it. I like the story. I like the setting. I like my world that I've built. I need that little pat on the back. I need that little, oh, we can't wait for the next one. It means the world to me and it drives me probably through my ADHD because of my ADHD. But the author life, indie author life especially, is grueling. Not only are you writing a story, not only are you building a world, not only are you figuring out finicky characters and story plots and subplots and, dragons and how their whole dragon community, like what that means and entails. And, there's like how does the magic work? There's so many things. Not only that, that's just one little pocket of what you're dealing with. The indie business side of it is a whole nother enchilada. No, that's not the whole enchilada, would be all of it, but a whole nother sphere. And I love that part of it too. I love making Canva marketing things, and I love understanding, like making spreadsheets and seeing how sales are doing. And I think that's super fun, but it's exhausting if it's all I do. And so I step back and then step back in. And as I said, jumping from sphere to sphere, circle to circle, right? So maybe I'll jump over here and do a little bit of crocheting or quilting, and then I'll jump back over here and do authoring stuff. And at 51, I think, oh, I really should get my shit together. I really need to have a plan. Like, I should just write every day. I should just focus on this author stuff. I should focus on what this means, being an author. Being an author means sitting down every morning with my coffee, which I have right here, and writing. But I have to market the book too. So sitting down every morning, working on some back of office crap, marketing stuff, post a couple TikToks, and then write. But then that's exhausting and annoying. And the minute I try to be that person, I break apart and I break down and I stop doing it completely. So, one of the things I'm trying to do now is give myself some, like, just shake it off, right? Like, I don't know where you are right now, but oh my gosh, just shaking off and moving my shoulders a little bit. My neck just cracked a little. Like, just relax, and it frees you up. It frees it. It gets the creativity flowing. It gets you happier, and I'm a better writer when I'm happier. So this podcast, I was making outlines, and this morning I thought, screw that. It's called I Have Always Got Time to Talk. If I make this outline and tell myself I have to have the outline first and all that, I'm never going to get it done. Now, let me tell you a little story off topic again, and this is probably why they say you should have outlines. But the people who want to be here will be here. I'll find my tribe by being myself. So thank you. What I found, I joined this professional independent author group, and it's been great in a lot of ways. And they've got lots of workshops up, and I have learned quite a bit through them. And I got a discount on my ISBN numbers through Bowker, and like it makes sense. I am learning from them. But I went to a podcast workshop, and I was talking about how my podcast was going to kind of be about indie authoring, and it was going to be about my art that I do, and maybe just life in general. And they're like, oh, well, that's fine if you want it to be for a few friends. And it made me, like, for a minute, I was like, oh shit, I shouldn't be doing a podcast. And then I thought, no, this is for my friends. This is for you. And if you're still here listening to this, thank you. And you're part of my tribe because you stuck around. And it's just going to be more chill. Because if I'm more chill, I'm going to show up. And if I show up, I'll keep showing up if it's relaxed and it's fun. And it's fun for me, and I hope it's fun for you. So this last week, I've been reading a book called Hygge, and I can't remember anything else about it. It's in the other room. I'll add it to the show notes, I think, if I can figure that out. Listen to me talking like I know what I'm doing, podcasting. All right, so I have, but the whole idea of Hygge, it's spelled Hygge, but it's a Danish word, and the pronunciation, according to the book, is Hooga. So I'm saying Hygge. I hope that's right. I tried to find it on TikTok, and I think I found like one TikTok where they actually said the word. I'm pretty sure Hygge. So the idea, though, is cozy. It's this kind of moment where you just feel super comfortable, cozy, safe. And in Denmark, it's part of their culture. They try really hard to kind of create these spaces, this time of day. Everything is about this level of comfort. And so they explain it in the book as like everybody's sitting around a fire with a warm, like hot tea or mulled wine in their hands under cozy, comfortable blankets with friends. And someone said the only thing that would make this more Hygge lit, which is just a different, like the only way Hygge like, is if it was a snowstorm outside. So if that kind of gives you that, like that kind of helped me see, okay, it's just about really cozy. And making every choice like for what's comfortable, what makes you happy. So I want to kind of use that, because I live my life that way. If something's not fun and not necessary, like, oh, of course, it's not fun to pay rent, but I have to do it. So I'll do it. But do I have to mop every single day? No. Do I have to wear clothes that look super stylish? No, unless I'm going to work. So, like when I have to, but like anytime that it's a choice, I want to err on the side of what's comfortable and makes me happy. So that's what I'm doing with this podcast. And that's what I'm going to do with my writing. And I'm pretty happy with that. So author life, I'll probably talk quite a bit about author life in general. And I'll talk about what I'm up to in general. But I'm going to just show up and talk because I've always got time to talk. I'm a chatter. Working on learning chess because it makes my husband happy, which makes me happy. He is very passionate about chess, and I know a little bit, but I think I could be really good if I put time in. And why not? Just a little bit of time every day. And my grandson might be staying with us. At first, we thought this summer, so I set up this whole room, which is where I'm at right now. But it's a nice, quiet room, and it's a perfect place to do podcasting and possibly writing every day. With the writing stuff, this week, I really want to get into writing every morning, and we'll see how it goes. But again, chill, relax. So what for you is the thing that you want to be chill about so that you can enjoy it more? Like, is there something in your life that you just really are so passionate about and you love, but that you get hung up on it because it's so important to you and so serious that you're maybe creating roadblocks for yourself? Like, that's what I've found. So let's all maybe reconsider. Like, it can be important to us, but we can make it fun and happy by just shaking out those shoulders. Look for the fun in it. Yeah. Let's look for the fun in it. I'll be back. Thanks for joining.